There we go. All right. Sorry, I'm running a tiny bit behind. Let me go grab our post a link on the website, Denver Guitar Orchestra, and we'll be up and running. Link to join, delete, Command V, Shift, highlight link, enter, edit, settings, open a new window, update, bold, update. All right, so that gets the link, March 26th, that's all correct. 431st guitar video. That's ridiculous, isn't it? All right, so there's that. All right, I got somebody coming in, so you guys will let me know if you can hear me. I think I have the microphone set correctly. It looks like it is. And now I'm getting text probably from stuff that doesn't matter right now. I'm betting. Let's go find out. Make sure it's not one of you texting me. Yeah, that's not important. All right, so let's put that on silent because you don't need to be listening to me texting or my wife texting my friend. Good morning, everybody. We are working on, sound is good, chilly and cloudy and up in Eugene. Denver is cold but nice out, right? So we have sun and it's lovely here. And so we'll take it. Let me make sure that the link is working properly, and then let's just get started, right? So we have a lot to get through today. I try to jam pack way too much stuff into here. That's not going. That's going there. Why? That's because I clicked on that one. Let's try clicking on this one and see what happens. So Sunday solos. Yep. I should have mentioned it. We're number 431. Okay. Good. Hey Carol, welcome in. I can hear you in Faywood, New Mexico. I lived in Albuquerque for a bunch of years. Where is Faywood? I don't know where that is, Carol. Glad you're here. That's exciting. I don't know where that is. Faywood, New Mexico. I don't know where that is. Let's see. How do I need to be more this direction, don't I? All right. I think. Does that work? Let's push this down just a little bit. How's that work? You don't really need to be looking at me anyway. You need to be looking at you. So, and I had everything tuned up yesterday, and I woke up this morning. Everything's way off again. Let me turn off the humidifier as well. I'm experimenting with some new strings on here, and so we'll see. Those of you guys that are involved with me with ukulele know I'm a huge carbon fan, but this guitar is not getting along very well with carbon strings. So I've gone old school and put some nylon strings on it. We'll see what happens. Let's see, between Silver City and Deming. Well, no wonder I haven't heard about it. I know where Silver City is, and I kind of have a vague recollection of where Deming is. So, good. I'm glad you're here. That's exciting. Love to have you. Hey, Linda. Sunny and 48 up in Vancouver. So good to see you guys. Hey, let's get started. I want to go as fast as I can. I want to see if we can just get everything in without feeling stressed out. So first thing we were going to do today is play out of Book 1, Brother John. I am hoping at this point that you are thinking, there's going to come a day when I got to show somebody how to read tablature, and you go directly to this piece of paper. I've been using this with all fretted instruments forever. It absolutely works. It helps people understand how to read tablature, and so hopefully you're doing that. Let's go take a look at the guitar melody line. We're going to play it two different ways. One, I'm going to have it play it together with you, and then I'm going to play the chords. You're going to play the melody, and we are going to toss in some of my beautiful singing, and we'll see how all that works out this morning. All right, so Brother John, Book 1. This is something I do recommend you memorize. From the top, you're just melody. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string to the top. Oh, oh, I blew it. To the top. Switch to these two fingers, by the way. Index and middle on the from the top. Second time through. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. I hit the first string twice. There we go. Remember to always let your last note ring forever. Don't just make your audience decide when this song is over with. All right, so you played this melody twice. I would put those numbers to memory. Okay, I think there's only a small number of things you should memorize in music. Because honestly, we live in a modern world. You don't need to memorize. You want to memorize the stuff that you're going to perform as a soloist out in the real world. But otherwise, I'm not sure what the point would be. You want to be as good as you can. People will argue that memorization is required, and that's because they went to music school. I think most, or they're performers, right? And they're out there trying to make a living doing this. But for those of us who are sitting at the house and just enjoying music, you don't have to memorize stuff. This one I do recommend, because somebody's going to find out you're a pretty good guitar player, and they're going to want you to start them and help them. And by having Brother John memorize, you give them the paper, and then you show them without looking at the paper. That's what we want. All right, I'm going to grab an E chord. Okay, sounds nice on this guitar, actually. Good morning, Sandy. Didn't see you sneak in. All right, you are going to play the melody. We're going to do it one time through. That way you don't have to listen to me sing. I'm going to do the French version, so I'm going to strum and sing. You're going to play the melody. 1, 2, ready, go. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. All right, there's your book one song of the day. If any of that stuff felt weird, definitely go take another look at it, right? So I definitely want you to memorize what an E chord looks like, okay? And it's not important in this lesson, but it is something I want you to know, okay? We have a different lesson for that. Second thing is memorizing that you're on this, only using this one string until the ding-dang-dongs, and that you're on this particular fret. Those are the things that are critical. Like, there's no point in proceeding until you can knock out Brother John both with the chord and with the melody. And the melody is actually 10 times more important than the chord. Chords you'll get, and I'm not worried about that. It's the melody, understanding that right off the bat. Okay, beautiful. Not the greatest song in the world, but the most important song, clearly, in music. Let's take a look at the next song as your study for this week. Same exact song, Frère Jacques, in first position. And now it's got an A chord, so that's what we did in the little booklet there. We did that chord a lot, right? So it's just these three things, okay? And now, instead of singing it in this key, Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, now we're singing it in A. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques. For me, it's lower and it feels a whole lot easier to sing that way. For some of you, it might be too low, and you'll be like, nah, I'd rather do it in E. So knowing key signatures for what your voice work isn't particularly helpful. What is helpful is that for me, this brings the pitch of the song down, and so that fits my voice a little better. Not that anything fits my voice particularly well. Now, I want to take a look at how changing the key affects the tablature, and this is the big takeaway from this one. When you teach or learn Brother John, you're using one string and moving up and down the neck, right? And that's a way to play. In this version, you're using only fret 2 and fret 3, but you're using multiple strings. So this is a real handy thing to promote people. They already know how the song goes because they already played it in the first one. Now your job is to help people understand that we're going to use less frets but more strings, right? So we're going to start on the third string, string 1, string 2, string 3, and you're going to start with the 2 on that string, okay? And then you're going to go to a 0 on the string right below it, and then a 2 on there. Just use your middle finger, and then right back. Do it again. 2, 0, 2, 2. Then you go back to the second string. 2, 3, 0. And again. 2, 3, 0. This is the tough measure. O on the first string. 2 on the first string. O on the first string. Then 3, 2 on the second string. And then a 2 on that third string. Do it again. All 2s, second string, third string, fourth string, third string, third string, fourth string, third string. Now, obviously, those of you guys have been around a while, you're like, you should just hold an A chord, right? But we don't teach that in this lesson yet, right? This lesson is still about finding your way around tablature and strings versus frets. So we don't start talking about just hold your A chord. That's what Farmer in the Dell is for, okay? So this one is just to get you comfortable with the strings going north and south rather than frets going up and down, right? By the way, this is up the fretboard and this is down the fretboard, okay? It's always confusing. I was watching a mandolin lesson of all things on YouTube, and the instructor was very clear, this is down. And you're like, oh, my students struggle with that too. I struggle with that. What the heck? Is gravitationally, this feels up. But this is up the fretboard. This is down the fretboard. All right, so your job this week on this song, practice the A chord, obviously, and singing it, and then practice the song. Those of you who've been around a while, thumb works, right? This is more important. Okay, come on, let's do it. I'm already cheating over here, right? So the minute you just switch to index middle, it makes your brain has to work a lot harder, and it's something you want to do. 2 other things associated with that. You can do it open, free stroke, open. Let's see if I can get this where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so just look at these 2 fingers. To open, and you notice they're not touching anything. This is why you want to know. This is why you want to use rest stroke. So I'm just plucking the string and having my fingers end up not touching anything. Then go back and try it with a rest stroke, where your finger ends up on the string above it. That's going to make you sound louder and more definitive, I think. And so that's when I'm using rest stroke. Okay, my fingers are actually resting on the string above the one I'm plucking. Much harder to do, probably more valuable in the long run than free stroke. Although I've seen lots of great. I studied with a kid who was an incredible free stroke player. His hands never even looked like they were touching the guitar. They were just beautiful. But there is discussion about what's the best thing to do. Try them both. That's the best thing. All right, this is rubbing up against the guitar is driving me crazy, so I'm going to drop this down. There's book 1. Okay, book 1 is the answer to all of the other books, and I know you don't want to play Frère, Jacques, but if you can, it's going to open up so many other things in your life. All right, let's jump over to book 2, and we're going to look at Pay Me My Money Down. And interestingly, in my local class here, that's it. This is exactly the song they're studying this week, so it's exciting that it kind of coming together. And if they come to class and they're like, I don't know how to do this, I'm like, did you watch the video? All right, Andre, good to see you, man. Sunny afternoon in Germany. Good time for us. Oh yeah, that's true, huh, Andre? I usually do it in the afternoon or evenings here, and that means the middle of the night for you. So yeah, I forgot about that. Glad you're here. All right, pay me my money down. Let's do it. Should we do all of the chords? Let's do it. The chords, and then the melody, and then the tough acts. So 3 times through. 1, 2, 3. I thought I heard the captain say, pay me my money down. Tomorrow is my sailing day. Pay me my money down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Pay me, oh, pay me. Pay me my money down. Don't pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to the top, and then let's go switch to the melody. Okay, I'm just going to use my thumb, but if you're a more advanced player, index middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Rest. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. 4, 1, 2. And then we repeat. Okay, now last part is the tough acts. Okay, and remember, when you get to those bumps, just eat lots of choices, right? Tap with your index, tap with your forefingers, tap with your thumb, hit with your knuckles. On YouTube, they all use their thumb and whack this top string, which is going to mess up your frets eventually. So I don't know if you should do that. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. That last measure, right? I jumped into the third ending, but you didn't have to, right? They're the same. But here's your last chord: bar on 2. Leave your 5th string open. Pinky on 5. And that's a perfect A chord ending. The reason is then you got an A chord as your root note. So here's your A root note. Okay, then the chord. And then your pinky's also on an A note up here. Okay, and then I don't know if you saw my poor posture. So be thinking about, okay, get my bar on, only use the fingers you need to, only cover the strings you have to on barring, and then try like heck to keep your pinky rounded, right? I did one of these deals, and that's not ideal, not the end of the world, but it is not what you want. Okay, you want to keep this nice and rounded, and then these guys should be hanging out right above the fretboard. So there you go. Okay, nice. I don't know how I feel about that song. So it's there. You just did it. Good job. All right. Next, simple gifts. This is so. While I'm not positive what I think about pay me my money down, I adore simple gifts. So let's take just a minute to talk about it. If you don't know the song, many of you don't, go to the website, grab the MP3, listen to it while you're looking at the sheet music, and you'll be like, yeah, I think I've heard that song somewhere before. Some of you know it as Lord of the Dance. Some of you know that Aaron Copland put it in the New World Symphony. Some of you know it as a ringtone on your phone. It's pretty been around a lot more than it used to be, and so I hear it in various places, but I'm also a fan of it, so I'm looking for it, kind of thing. Let's talk again. You got A chord and E chord. Getting back and forth between those two, you might be getting the message. That's pretty important to be able to do. So same exact chords as the last song, and then the melody is pretty basic. We're going to cover the melody as we talk about the tough acts just a little bit. So on the tough acts, start with, always in finger style, start with your chord on. Okay, so A is our first chord, and look, the first two notes are there. 2, 2 on the 4th string, and then a little strum. 3 strings, dum, then 2 O, dum, ring up, dum, little strum, dum, wum, bum, bum. I would use your pinky here, bum, and then the next measure 2 is a regular A chord. Wum, A, O, 3, and then take your pinky right back off. Bum, O, I'm lifting my ring finger up, 2. Now I switch to the E chord. Now I've only arranged it with 4 notes here, but you could hit that top string if you want. Bum, 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 bum. Now here's a messed up moment, right? Yeah, last note in measure 3, you've just hit this beautiful chord, and then look, you got a 1, and now you got to slide it up to a 2. Okay, so it's the wrong note, okay, but that's what it is. So bum creates a bit of a tension, and then you slide it right back. Wum, use your pinky on this too. Dum, O, 1 strum. Hit the 2 again, and then now switch back over to A. This is pretty challenging. I don't have a chord on here on purpose because your middle finger is naturally going to land on this 2. 2. Now what are you going to hit it with? Well, you're going to use your index finger. 1, 2, O, A chord, 1, ring finger up, O, 2, pinky for the 3, measure 6, a nice A chord, open, and then a pinky off, ring finger up, switch to E chord, pinky on the 2, pinky off. Page 2 is back to the A chord. Okay, now let that be a long note, right? It's a half note, but you've had a ton of 8th notes, so it's going to feel really crazy long. Then measure 9, beautiful A chord. Let it ring, partial A chord, ring finger up, ring finger back, pinky on 3, pinky off, ring finger off, strum. Ring finger back down at 11, 2, 3. I use my ring finger there, but you should use your pinky probably. Pinky 3, 2. Back to your E chord. O2. Use your pinky and take it off. Dum. Back to your A chord. Ring finger up. Nice A chord here. Ring finger back up. Back down. Pinky down. A chord at measure 14. Pinky on the 3. And then an A chord. O2. Let's ring up. And then back to your E chord. O, pinky on the 2. 2, A chord, ring finger up, and then you've got a harmonic, and then the harmonic is showing on the 5th string. Okay, now why the 5th string? Okay, most of the time when we do harmonic, we like it these ones, right? The song is in the key of A, so you happen to have an A string that's open. Okay, go up to your 12th fret. Okay, you should have a dot on 5, 7, and 9, 10, 11, and then if you don't have a dot on 12, some of you have it. It's the last fret before you hit the body, and some of you have it up here because you have 14 frets to the body. Depends on your guitar construction. But remember, you have an E harmonic, A harmonic, D, G, B, and E. Those are just hanging out. Those are the easiest ones to do, and it's great to learn them. What I'm doing is I'm barely touching the string with this finger, and then I'm going to pluck it. And then after I pluck it, I can lift this finger up. Harmonics. What you will get in the beginning is this. All right, let's see if I can do it. You'll just get a dull sound. It'll sound like that, right? What you get better, barely touch the string and then plug it. Okay. The cool one to practice on is the 1st string, right? You get this really cool sound. 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, the one that we use in this song, and then 6th string. Okay, you want to be able to do those. Those are going to come up a lot. There's a lot of harmonics in music, and so my note to myself says, "Hey, just put this on fret 17, beat 1, right? Boom, as the ending." But it's fine where it is. Just practice harmonics a little bit so you can get where they come out of your guitar somewhat reliably. You've got them. The easy ones are on 12. They also show up on 7 different notes. Show up on 5. They're harder to do on 7 and 5. You can make artificial harmonics. Let's say I hold down fret 5 on the 1st string. Now I count down from 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to have harmonics here, right? And I'm using my index finger to hold the spot, and then I'm plucking with my thumb. Okay. And you can actually play an entire song now by fretting the song and finding the place where the harmonic shows up down here. It's kind of a fun activity to practice. All right, that's harmonics, okay? And that's Simple Gifts. Hopefully that made some sense, and we will play that again next time we get together. I think Simple Gifts is one of the best songs in Book 2. I think it's worth spending some time on. There's only a couple moments where there's sort of a challenging thing to do. It's also very good with playing melody while holding your E chord. So that's going to come up, and so this is a great song. Just in general, but it's also a pretty forgiving song and a pretty beautiful song on guitar, and all of the techniques that we have in here are going to be helpful down the road. All right, that's Book 2. Okay, that's 2 weeks to work on that. And a lot of people don't know that song, so you can play that and people will think that it's more complicated than it is, and so you'll be like, huh, yeah, I'm pretty good. All right, let's take a look at Book 3. And we're looking for All Through the Night in Book 3. So first, Book 3, All Through the Night. Where'd you go? All right. Now you got our 4 chords from Book 1 are in this song. And so I don't want to go over the chords. This is Book 3, right? Hopefully you got these chords under control. I always say that. You should know this stuff. And you're like, I don't think I do. So let's go through and play it. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, so hopefully you had a chance to look at it. I love this song. I think it's beautiful. Okay, from the top. I think I'm going to do the main part of the song with plucking. And then when I get to page 2, I got my pedal going today, then I'm going to switch to a strum down. Just like it says. Oh, look at that. I was trying to be thoughtful about how best to present it and find out I already told you how to do it. All right, from the top. Take your time. This is a pretty song as well, so don't rush. 1, 2, 3, 4. strum. Fermata, let it ring, and then go on. Let's go to the top. Second ending. Isn't that lovely? It's just a really nice song. Hopefully you're enjoying playing that one. A little bit of a lullaby feeling to it, and again, if you learn the first four measures, you're 3/4 done with the song. Practice technique is always don't work on the whole song. Just don't do it. Only work on those sections you need to know. So in this case, I'd work on the first four measures, and then I would make sure that I could get through measures 9 through 12, which are the easier measures, with some sort of fascinating right hand technique. And then I'm done with the song, right? And so I don't spend a lot of time playing songs top to bottom. I think that's really, really one of the things I've done in my life that wastes a lot of time. And I think you're better off finding those measures where there's trouble spots, minimizing the amount of work that you have to do in rehearsal. And then before you walk away from the song, of course, try playing it top to bottom. But for the most part, that's not a particularly effective practice technique. All right. Let's talk very quickly about Aloha Oe. This again is a pretty challenging tune in the sense that the rhythm is not what we expect. It's pretty hard rhythm. Okay, so let's take a look at it. First chord is a D chord. Da da dum da, G chord dum da da da, D chord dum, A chord. What dum? Da dum 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 da da da, D chord dum dum da da dum. Wait a minute, I'm confused about how it goes. Da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum 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 da dum da 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 dum dum da da. Measure 5. Dum da dum da dum da dum 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 da da dum dum da da dum dum. Then measure 9. Da dum 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 da dum dum da da dum da da dum da 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 dum da dum 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 da dum dum da dum da dum 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 da dum da da dum da dum. Okay, So the rhythms even throw me off, and I played this song 1,000 times, right? So when I'm singing through it, I'm getting in a rush to change chords when I don't need to. And so again, if you don't know the tune or you need, it feels like something's going poorly, go listen to the MP3 a few times while you're staring at the music, because of course that's where the information is you're going to need to get it right. Also, notice it's a 3-chord song: G, D, and A7. Okay, and for those of you who are songwriters, G, D, A7, D. That makes every cowboy song ever, right? Bum chung chung, bum chung chung, bum chung chung, bum chung chung. I am a cowboy and I roll down the street in a horse-drawn buggy and a bottle of whiskey or whatever, right? So those are your 3 chords to write cowboy songs. You don't need any more, so just write some cowboy songs. Make a cowboy song that's about some real stuff you're dealing with in life, right? What's something? TikTok getting banned, right? I put up my life on TikTok, and now the government's gonna ban it. What will become of me? Right, or whatever. So D, G, and A7. Anytime you're singing the blues for real, not singing the blues, but singing sad about the sadness in your life, D, G, and A7 works every time. All right. I do want to play the at least talk about a couple of things in the tough uke, okay, or tough acts. So you got, as always, start with your D chord. That's your first chord. Bum bum, and then you got a nice D chord here. Bum, middle finger up. Bum. Now you remember when you're going for a G chord and then melody notes of 3 on the 2nd string, and you're coming out of D, you're already holding down. So don't move him. Just move these 2 guys. Dum. Now you got a problem here, right? You've got this beautiful chord. You can either do 2, 3, O, or after this, you can abandon part of the chord or all of the chord. Bum, 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 bum. Either of those is a choice, right? I'm not sure either of those is a great choice, but so you're going to have to make a decision there about how best to handle that moment going from the big G chord to the 2. And so think it through. There's better ways, and for each of you would come up with your own answer. No matter what you do, you're probably going to end up affecting the chord a little bit, unless you can get from 3 back to 2 and back up to 3 effectively. And you can, right, with a little bit of work. So then when you get to measure 2, 0, 0, 2, doesn't look like a D chord, but it is. The question is, do you need to put the whole D chord on there? Maybe not, right? Right? So you could just put a 2 on there. The reason I recommend that in this case is your next note's a pinky, right? And remember, anytime it says 4, you're using your pinky. Okay, so don't let yourself slide your ring finger up to get 4s. Get that 4, then you're back to the D chord. Okay, A chord, A7. And another 4, and then back up to the chord. Probably your ring finger there, middle finger, and then back to the A7. Now you go back to the main idea at 5, 2, 3. Putting the D chord on a little early, right? Again, there's a word for that in music theory. We don't need to worry about it here. But when you start the chord before you're supposed to start the chord, that's what's going on here. 2, 2. You're still really officially in A7 territory, but you're letting this go. Ba, ba. And now you bum, open, bum, same as the top. Pinky. Okay, and then you got a nice G chord here. And I ended up in my alternate G chord, middle ring, and pinky there just because of the prior chord shapes. I just ended up there. When it happens, just go with it. And then that makes you get to E7, A7 easier. Probably your middle finger on that, or I'm sorry, ring finger on the 2. Again, anytime you can leave the chord down, it's going to sound better. So if you don't have to pull the chord and you can find a way to finger it, we're leaving it on. That way your guitar's helping you out. It's just continuing to ring that chord through while your other melody fingers are doing what they're doing. It's better, right? It doesn't always work, but it's better. And then back to your D chord. Okay, G chord here. Again, I don't even need to move my ring finger. I do need to move it, sorry. And then add your pinky on. Ring finger up. D chord. Notice you've got quarter note, dotted quarter note. That's a slow measure, even though it looks like a lot's going on. Gets really fast here with these 16th notes. Pinky on the floor. Ring finger on the 3, and then back to the D chord. So that's measure 12. Okay. When you look at measure 13, you've got this G chord again. And then you want to use them regularly. I like this shape whenever I can get away with it. Index, middle, ring, and pinky. It just has that nice, beautiful pop on the top string. And I think anytime you can use that as your G chord, try to, right? Because that sounds way more interesting than just a regular G chord. Nothing wrong with a regular G chord, but the extra 3 makes it, just give it a better pop. And then you go back to your D chord. Now these are 8th notes, so they're kind of fast. Thing here is your arrangement says 0, 2, 3 to finish up, which is perfectly fine. But remember, you also have a D chord from row, row, row your boat hanging out at 12, 11, 10, 10. Okay, so a little bar on 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so that is, it's just your C chord. Sorry, it's your, what is that? F chord. It's your F chord up here on 10, D chord. Okay, so that's going to sound even better. So if you get to that end of that song, again, 2, 3, 2. Okay. And those of you guys who come into orchestra, you know I do that all the time. Anytime I'm in D, I'm going to be putting that on the end because that's a D note. That's a D right there, right? And so it's going to sound amazing as your last chord. Anytime you're playing in the key of D. Beautiful. Hopefully that gets you started on that pretty strong. I think I've been playing Aloha Oe for years and years and years, and I just love it. Vic's laughing, either laughing at me or smiling because a light bulb went on or something. All right, that's it. So if you are only doing fingerstyle stuff, you can sneak out and have a wonderful day, but you shouldn't do that. You should definitely come and hang out, and let's talk a little classical guitar. All right, so the one we are working on. Oh yeah, the nice part about baritone uke is it's exactly the same stuff. You just don't have to play those 2 strings, right? So that's what's really cool. All right, so let's talk about the classical stuff very quickly. Thanks, Carol. That's sweet. We are looking at. What did I play? It's like Bransle, Poitou out of the RCM Book 1. Again, if you need the password to the classical page, just send me an email. I'm not protective of it at all. I'm just trying. I get every single video I post now, I get an email from Google saying, by the way, this obscure company out of Brazil thinks you're violating their copyrights. And so you're not in trouble, but we can't pay you for this video. And you're just like, I don't want to be paid for the video. I want you to stop bugging me. I want people to stop being weird about music. All right, so 1520 to 1598 is when Mr. Leroy lived, and so you know that this is going to be weird. All right, that's how you know. If it's that old, it's going to be a challenging tune. Anytime you're in classical, you for sure are not thinking strumming is your first thought. You are thinking claw plucking. Let's see how we do. Okay, and again, not fast. I'll give you a 2-beat count in, and remember we're in 6, so we count it as 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Okay, or don't count it at all, just hope for the best. 1, 2. second ending. Hopefully you remembered. All right, a couple of thoughts on that. That's sounds very 1520, right? And so knowing some of that stuff, nobody wants to listen to that in real life, but what it does help you with a lot is thinking differently about music. Like you're like, nobody wants to listen to old-fashioned music like that, unless you're in a university somewhere, and even there, they're just going to criticize how you did it. But the idea here is that so much of the music we play is, pop tunes from the 60s and 70s. And then when you get something like this, it's very different in nature. It can be super helpful to getting just techniques that you might not typically use. For me on this one, it's about keeping the pacing, right? Whatever pace you start, it doesn't matter. If you have to play it twice as slow as that, just do it. But keeping everything consistent. The entire piece is eighth notes. And the hardest moment for me was at measure 13, where I needed to do that turnaround. In the future, I'm going to put a fermata over the fourth note to the little chord there in measure 13, because I want a moment for that to rest before I go back up, right? The original sheet music doesn't have that, but I think from a musician point of view, you kind of want to have a little bit of fermata there. I don't know what else to say about this tune. I think it's a lovely, lovely piece of music that should probably help you also be thinking about 6/8 time, right? One triplet, two triplet, one triplet, two triplet. And if you can get that where you're just pushing it through, once the music starts to come out, then you start thinking about dynamics. And I felt like at measure 9, boy, I needed to bring my dynamics up to make this song work properly. So hopefully that was fun. All right, next up, I'm running out of time here, so we got to talk very quickly. Moorish dance is the next one. Moorish dance is, I hate it when things are called Moorish anything, because I think there's this subtext of that somehow this is going to be exotic and dark and weird, and it's not that at all. It's just a piece of music, right? Notice that you have this basically two things going on. You've got sort of a little bit of a scale run, and then some ba-da-da-da-das, right? Some arpeggio plucking. And so what you want to be thinking about is using your thumb on the deep notes. O, 2, sorry, let me get on the right strings. O, 2, 3, O. Then your chord shape, whatever shape you need. It may or may not be helpful to put the full chord on here. In this case, I just got to get 1 and 2 down. 2 with your thumb, and 1, and then the open with your thumb. And then you repeat that. Now you use the lower string, the E string. Now you've got 2 and 3, so I would probably use middle and pinky. This 2 down, and I would to play that 1. I'd probably use my index finger, and now I got to get down to this 2. Again, use your pinky on that 3. Now this weird 3 shows up. Right, that's kind of a cool moment, and then again some more plucking. Just slide up middle finger on the 2. Sorry, you probably want to put on your 1 and 2 at the same time. Okay, bum, bum, bum is what's really going on there. Okay, then it repeats sort of. So there's nothing too much more than that on page 1. And again, so then let's take a look at the ending real quick, because there is one tied note, which is kind of fun to think about. Measure 20 to O, O, open, O, 2, O, open, O, 3, O, 2, 1, 2, 2, O, O. It's just the timing is still the same, but as a performer, you're going to give this O, 2. You're going to give that a little bit of extra love, right? Let that one be this O, 2 to try to finish it up with some amount of style there. All right, so there's Moorish dance. Not a great song, but kind of fun to practice. Okay, and I don't know if it sounds Moorish or not. I doubt it. Let's go take a peek at Calleno Book 1. So theoretically, these are a tiny bit harder than the other ones, but mostly not. Let's see where it comes up now. It's at 120, which is a jaunty pace, but you can see just looking at the standard notation, not particularly a lot of notes that you're going to be facing. So let's see if anything eats us alive. From the top, not at 120. Let's do about 80. 1, 2, 3. Very, very old-fashioned, right? It's a sheet music out of Shakespeare, right? So there you go. You're playing Shakespeare. I don't know. I don't really like the song, but it's kind of fun to try to get it as regal sounding as possible. I'm not sure where in Shakespeare. Henry V, I think. Yeah, Henry V is where it comes from, which I read when I was 21 years old. That's a while ago. All right, take a look at Cancion. This is a much more challenging song. And this is what you'll work on for the week. Only got a minute to talk about it. But again, be thoughtful about chord shapes, right? So if I'm going to do, we're in 6/8. So again, 1 triplet, 2 triplet through the whole thing. So your first note's a pickup, 6. Oh, I see 0, 1. So I'm going to hold that. I'm going to use this twice. And then thumb on the 2 and the 3. And then you got an open note, and then put your 2 here. What are you playing? Probably a C chord, right? Now you have 1 and 3. That's probably a D minor. And then back to the 0, 1 is probably a C chord. Those your upper notes are tied. That means you hold that, but don't overthink it. You still got to get to that bass note, the place where you kind of rest. You see the rest at the end of measure 4. Again, don't take that seriously because you have to get to this 2 at the same time. Whoop. And there's that. Now you got some a little bit more substantial chords and a little bit more obvious what's going on here. So we got a D note. Now this feels like an E to me. Could be an F we play. Who knows? Maybe not. Probably an E. And then you got this 1, 2. So now for sure you're probably in A minor. This is probably D minor. For sure D minor. Now one of the things I did here was I created a problem I can't fix. I put on a regular D chord here, D minor chord, 0, 1, 3, and then the 2, 3, 1 after that, right? So major 7. But now I've got a 3, and I'm out of fingers, right? So try to do your D minor with 1, 2, and 4. That leaves this ring finger open for this 3. Okay, So from 7, D minor, put your D minor on, but use your pinky, leaving your ring finger open. Now you can get your ring there. Now you change chords anyway, back to your E chord. You'll get it, right? It's a very bouncy song. I really actually like this one quite a bit. 1981 by Mr. Hartog, Miss Hartog. I'm not sure who Cees is, but really fun. It looks like this old-fashioned tune with that crazy name on it. But you're going to really love playing this song. Again, dotted quarter note equals 52. That's pretty slow, but keep it moving forward. 6/8 time is very demanding in terms of moving forward. Bum 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 plung bum 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 plung plung plung. Right, so make sure that you just keep that feeling of pushing forward. All right, guys, I have to run to go teach ukulele. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for being here, and I will see all of you in 2 weeks. It'll be Easter. I'll toss an Easter song up there because I know you want to play a Peter Cottontail, and then I'll update our playlist for stuff for next week. And you have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you then. Peace. Thanks for being here.